haven't even taken my hair down because I need to wash it. So after I finish doing this, I'm gonna go in and take a shower and wash my hair. You guys get the dirty version. And it's 10 to 6 or 10 to 7. Um, Today I didn't wake up for the second wake up until 6. I was like, yeah, I'll break this chain. And this is weird, I think, because a couple weeks ago, and I don't remember if I had said it. Sometimes I don't say some things because I think like, geez, I'm just gonna sound crazy and crazier all the time. But I was saying, it feels like, to my own self, I guess. I kept thinking it sure feels like Halloween. Like I was wanting to put on Halloween movies, and I was like, just the whole thing with outside, the weather here and stuff. I was like, man, it seems like um fall. And then how they have the kids going back to school. It's fucking mid-August. Like that is so weird. Over here in the South, over here on the West Coast, it was after Labor Day. Like there would be the Labor Day holiday and then they go back to school. And so that's moved up. And then when I said it was strange to the neighbor, because she works at the school, and I was like, I can't believe you guys are already going back. That's so crazy. And she said, yeah, and we got out late. So they're extending it. And that's what I kept thinking. Like, fuck, this is mid-June and the kids are still in school. Like, what the hell? And so I have no idea what the hell is going on with that. But on the holiday thing, so I kept feeling like, God, it feels like it's almost Halloween. It feels weird. And then I can't remember because it seems like I'd seen a couple other things of Halloween pop up, and I was like, okay, there's something weird going on. But then when the spirit store opened up the other day, I was like, okay, this is so weird. Like, I don't know when the spirit store usually opens up, but in the fucking summer, I thought it opened up like, I don't know, September. And it seems extreme. And then to be all focused on Halloween, we haven't even hit Labor Day. I don't know. The whole thing is strange. It's like this seems like the time where it's getting ready to go back to school, not just, okay, we're back in school now. And so my hair is going to drive me crazy. So then anyways, I thought that was strange. It's just like, if I didn't mention it, I was just like, put it in the bank and, stick it in my pocket. But now I'm seeing so many more people saying something is weird. And they're saying it feels like it's fall. The weather has suddenly changed, which, what did I say here? It was like, fuck, I can't believe it's already over. Summer's over and we're already in fall. This weather is so weird. And then, so I've seen other people saying, but the reason I'm saying it is because what was trippy was, so this guy, he was saying about the video, he was talking about the eclipse. And he was talking about something with the alignment or something like that. And they said something, I don't remember. And then he said, and then it was like, I don't know if he was saying then we jumped into fall or something. But when he was saying this stuff, I was thinking about how I kept saying like it's like we're on Groundhog Day, and he said something about them messing with the time, and I was like, yeah, it was like Groundhog Day. And we just kept going and going and going, and stuff has not made sense on time. Like I've said, like it is supposed to be like a week, and you're like run out of all this stuff, and it's like this is so weird. Like it's so many different perspectives of it. Like, cause I don't know how to explain it. Like, I think everybody has their own equilibrium and what makes you feel like, okay, things feel so off. And on the time thing, if they were doing some kind of time thing and this thing of this going in and out, this pulling, like if they are doing something against time and it's creating these shifts, which we're feeling They're doing it like for them. What I've heard is they're trying to do things to this reality so that they don't, because they know that this is the end of them. So they're trying to keep themselves going. I wonder if that is Max out there trying to get the squirrels always make that noise when they're jumping on it. But I keep finding the little tray down, and I don't know if he's jumping up trying to get it. He will not fucking stop with the goddamn slugs. I have to keep rescuing slugs. He goes and he gets them and he starts biting them and stuff, just like it's like a mouse or something. And I feel bad. You find them and they got these little bites and I'm throwing, trying to get rid of it. He's running, trying to find them. And it's like, oh my God, dude, I told you to leave the fucking slugs alone. Ever since that day where he's out there barking at one, once they caught his attention, he's like, and then where I feed the birds, I know that there's some out there. I bet you he's eating some. So, I don't know. I was told they shouldn't be eating them, but what the fuck? He's like, he's so focused on food, too. It's like he can't get enough. I must be the street dog. It triggers something in him where it's like, food, 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 food. And it's so sad, too, because all these videos with, like, people who go to the shelters and try and show all the dogs that are in the shelters and stuff and how sad the dogs are. It's like they're in fucking prison. And then the recidivism or whatever, because there's constantly these videos of they got taken somewhere, they got adopted, and then a month later they're returned. And that happened to me. Like when I got Millie, I think it was like a month. And I tried, man, I tried to train her and stuff. I thought she was doing good. It was just, it would be out of the blue. It would be like, it wasn't something I could, I don't know how to put it off, but she was just so triggered, like, by Stella. And I don't know if it was like this battle for being in charge or what, but Stella could just walk by and she just dive down and just attack her. And she was closer to Stella's size. Not as big as Stella. As, you know, Stella's huge. That dog was like 100 pounds. Winston was like 110. And Stella always wanted to walk him. So we'd go to the lake and she'd grab the leash and she'd go running off, trotting, walking Winston. It was the cutest thing. I used to have a bunch of videos of it, but then my phone, you know, deleted all my pictures and videos. But then, but she keeps trying to do it now with Max, and he is so light. So she's like picking him up and dragging him. I'm like, oh no, we gotta stop this. And she just grabs it like right up close, and she goes trotting like, you know, and she's so motherly. She's so, like when I just opened the door for her to come in when she was outside, she sat on the porch and waited for him to come. Then when he came, he went in first and she went in, but he's gone back out now. But she's very, motherly over him. It's really cute. But anyways, there's like a big difference in her walking Winston and her trying to walk poor little Max. But there was, and yesterday when we were out on our walk, disaster hit. It was very strange. Like, I kept like, I don't know. I don't know. It was just strange. As I went out walking, and then it was like like I think that, I don't know all the single people in the neighborhood, and I don't know, you know, I know ones around me obviously know who I am, and like, you know, the ones that are around you. And so it was like all the single guys were all chatting to me yesterday, which was like, I don't know, it was strange. And so we kept walking. And then Stella decided she wanted to go on a long one, so we went all the way around. And then she decided to skip the new neighborhood. So we were almost home. Oh, so close. We were almost home. And all of a sudden, the neighbor decided he wanted to come out and visit and bring the dog some treats. And then, so it didn't work out well for him. So he came out and comes walking up, and I was like, oh, you bringing me something? And I don't know. For one thing, the dog, or Stella, gets very triggered by guys trying to approach me. Girls too, but I can tell a difference for the guys. That she's a lot more like, you know, what business do you have here? And so it all happened so quick that I was like, I don't even know. It was like we were so close. At the end of my driveway. It's just like, oh, I'm almost there. I'm already envisioning myself taking these things off. And then I turn and you see him trotting down. Oh, wait, wait. And I turn, oh, you bring me some? And immediately it was like the dogs turned and went the other way, like ran towards him, but they ran around me. Just like, you know, when you're a little kid and we used to, well, when I was a little kid, there was a game, Cowboys and Indians. And I don't know, I think it was taught to us off of Little Rascals or something. But you tie up the Indian, you know, you have to capture them because they're going to kill you. And then, but they would be like all wrapped around. So that's what they decided to do to me. And it just was like, it happened so quick too. It was just like twist around, and there I went just down. I was like, son of a bitch. Oh, son of a bitch. So both of my hands, they look so much. I've been doing castor oil, so both of my hands, and then both my knees were worse than this. But I've been doing the castor oil ever since it happened. I came in and washed off and stuff. And, you know, he apologized. Oh, that's not what I meant to happen. Well, yeah. I didn't think that you were like trying to play a plan. Hopefully it works out this way. But I think that, you know, we just got to think things through more. Like, so anyways, yeah, 175-pound dog dragging, yeah, like, so, but the castor oil, and then it was really uncomfortable though last night. Like, oh my gosh, every side of me has some wound. I was like, son of a bitch. And then I did something really impulsive yesterday. It was so weird, but I kept feeling like the thrift store was beckoning me and beckoning me. And then, so then I was like, and I'll sit there and be like, oh man, that's 30 miles. And I just seem so crazy. And so I'm having this whole thing going back and forth. And then the beckoning wouldn't stop. So I was like, okay, I'm going. And went down, and then I found something that was, you know, really great deal. And so then it was like, oh, cool. And then I went to the little market and got some more kombuchas and stuff. But I was like, I don't know. It was so spontaneous. And then it was such a score. And so that was fun. But let me think, because there was other things I was going to talk about besides this. So the walking disaster. I don't even know what it would have looked like, because it was such a spin, and it happened so fast. It was just like boom, 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 down on the ground. And then he was trying to help me up. My hands were all bloody. I was like, but anyways, I can get myself up. But, you know, if I wasn't healthy at my age, that could have been a broken hip or something. But so you got to take care of yourself. You got to, you know, work on you and take care of yourself and your body. Oh yeah, that was something I had seen yesterday. There's always, when I say stuff, there'll always be these confirmation videos that will come to me. This was, I've seen some really cool videos. This one was, okay, it's like spinning the thing. Let's see if I can see what it is. Because there's something else that keeps popping up. So I might just have to skip over here to this. So there's this dad who, it's the video that was going viral was, I think it was the girl who had videotaped this. And she just had like the audio, like you could see the bedroom or her feet or something. And so she's, I think it was her videotaping her getting kicked out by her dad, and she's 14. And so you're hearing the conversation, because at first when you're just hearing like, oh, this dad kicked his daughter out at 14 and stuff, you're like, man, the world is just getting crazier and crazier. There's so many crazy things like right now. It's like, fuck, so crazy. And so this guy, you know, is saying all this stuff to her, and he starts saying, this is your second kid. And she goes, so you don't care? You don't want to take care of him? He's like, I'm taking care of the other one. I'm taking care of your little boy. This is not what I want. This is not my life. No, I'm not doing this. You don't listen. You don't, you just do what you want. He's like, no, go to your mom's and stay. I'm done with this shit. And, so this whole video, I must not listen to the whole thing, because in the comments, so the dad did a video response because I'm sure he's getting chewed up, and so, man, I hope they didn't spill all those stuff I just put in there. So, well, they can dig it off the ground, I guess. The door shuts. What in the hell? This is why I like it when they just lay in here. Drama created. There's probably somebody just walking by, but I gotta see. It's usually in the morning. There's lots of people. I should open this one too. Dang it. Because then it's like, is there something going on? Like, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, it's 7. I was like, oh my God, is it still earlier and they're out there barking? By 7, they should be able to bark. But some of these neighbors, they don't ever let their dogs bark. It's like, oh yeah, it's the same thing with this Humane Society thing. It's like, how can we not think that the dogs are going to be miserable? Like, we've imprisoned them. We're putting them in cells. And then we think like they're going to go to people's homes and they're going to be able to behave properly. There's got to be a better way to do this stuff. Like the ones that I've seen that seem like they're doing good are those little farm ones. But I was even like, why in the world aren't more nursing homes being filled up with dogs? Like I bet you make some of these old people so much happier having dogs around, and it would make them start being young again. Man, if I had a nursing home, it would be like turning time backwards. I would be doing everything to turn time backwards. Everything in the place would be set up from like the 50s or something. Everything would be like the music that would be playing overhead would be music to make them want to jump up and start dancing again. Get up and do the twist and do a little dance. You know, bring that life back into them. And I don't know, this place is so, everything is so backwards. But anyways, putting dogs in to nursing homes or places, there's so many better ways that we can be doing things, and there's so many people coming up with better ways. Like, it's all been programmed. I was thinking, it's kind of trippy even, is how many adults are learning, like these kids, like there's these kids that have been birthed who are another level, and so it's like I don't know, I've heard it's something like they're not going to have the veil. Like, they're not having, they remember shit. They can remember their past lives. They're remembering all sorts of stuff, and they're telling their parents and people around them, and some parents are like, what? And they're sharing all these little prophets information and stuff. And I was thinking, that is really, you know, waking some parents up and helping them to see, you know, to understand about reincarnation and stuff. See how this works? It comes at all different angles. It's coming from everywhere. And so it's not just one thing. It's not just, definitely not just the news. That's just a part of learning that this reality is so fake, and it's like a Truman Show created to, you know, pacify us. But it really ends up just being in control of us. And so but that's what the awakening is about, is this being able to see. And but anyways, with the dogs being locked up like that, and then them constantly being returned and stuff, it's because, like, however long Max has been here, I've been seeing all sorts of shifts in his personality. Like, it's a huge shift to make to go and live somewhere else. Especially, like, I don't know his history. I don't know what his life was like. I don't know if somebody was smacking him and threw him out. Like, there's people throwing out their kids, throwing out their dogs, you know, just... And one thing about dogs, too, there's his little tail. No, that's still a stall. He usually pops up his little face up at the door. Um, but the, oh, what was I going to say? Stella, dogs. Well, I just know we can do better. The schooling, like I was even thinking how absurd. Because I was thinking about people and pets and stuff, and people go and get dogs and stuff because they want the dogs to make them feel better. But really, it is that you taking care of the dogs when you don't want to do stuff is what makes you feel good about yourself. And a lot of people don't get over that part. They don't push themselves into that. The dog is too challenging. They just want rid of it. But it's the challenges that make you grow and make you see these other sides of yourself. And so I just think there's so many dogs that are given away because they're not getting from it what they thought they'd get from it. But it's because it's not about you getting something from them. It's about you giving something and then feeling good because you're making this animal's life better, and they start giving back to you with gratitude and love, and you build a bond, and then they're very protective of you because you're the one who protects them. And so it's a whole relationship that can build. And I was thinking, it would be so more helpful for kids to learn about dog training, because when I went to dog training, that the thing I kept telling people is like, it's weird. You think you're going to train your dog, but really you're getting trained. You're getting trained how to communicate. It's like you're learning how to communicate with your dog, how your dog understands and stuff. So it's teaching you. And I was like, that's what they need to do, more stuff in schools, like a teaching things, not just the cooking and sewing and life skills and stuff, but because that is a communication. It is like a language, a skill to be able to communicate with other animals and stuff. And it would broaden that in people's minds. It would take them into being able to do more. But dog training and stuff like that in classes, there's so many more things that we can do to make our society better. That they just wanted it to be, shit, because they want us to be miserable, because all they want us to do is be on drugs. They just want a bunch of drug addicts, miserable drug addicts that hate each other and hate ourselves. So anyway, so this guy, he did this video saying, everybody's being mean to me about kicking my daughter out. Nobody understands, his perspective or whatever. And I didn't listen to that whole video either. But I did comment, and because I do the same thing. And so I was just trying to tell him, I don't know, because it's not like for him to just continue the thing, let his daughter be out of control, that, and then to have that kind of relationship too, then that is super toxic. That's going to beat the kid down even more. And so I was trying to give him, some like parenting advice or life skills with your kids' advice or something, like elder advice. Because, a lot of us learn this stuff because we're at different stages of our parenting. And then once you move through the stages, you also see, in observation, you can see how things are working out. So you can see cause and effect in a lot of ways. And so I was trying to, there is the strangest smell. It's driving me crazy. I just keep smelling. It's like a smell from when I was a kid or something. I can't, all the other day I smelled my hands. It was on my hands. And then I just was like, is this a towel? Like everything is smelling so weird to me. So weird. So anyways, so in the comments when I was looking, all these people were saying, well, I'm concerned. Who's this Uncle Ted? Who's Uncle Ted? Like everybody was saying that. So I don't know if I went back and listened to both their videos where the talk of this uncle is. But people were saying, oh my gosh, because the dad looks like he's like 20 years old. So he's very young. So he probably also started when he was very young. And there's a whole way that patterns repeat. Why, your kids will go and do some of the stuff you went and did or something, even if you try and stop them. But it is like, I don't know, it's like you're blind to certain things because you're trying to heal your own wounds and you are like blind to theirs. It's just like it's for one thing, when you don't see things right, it's because you're not supposed to. When you don't hear things right, it's because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to hear and see what you hear and see because that gives you your lessons. I mean, how many times have you heard something, had a reaction, and then it was like, that's not even what was the thing? And so it's, but those are there to help you, to teach you. And there's a thing about, and I've said this before, but a thing about people who have been sexually abused is mostly the people who get sexually abused are people's kids who have been sexually abused. So it's this pattern. And when a counselor was telling me this one time, I was like, well, how can that be? Because, I'm always like watching out. And like, oh, you can't trust that. You can't trust them. Like, I'm always like on guard. So how can that be? And she said that so many parents think, well, since it's happened to me, it won't happen to them. It's like, and that I've found that to be true in people's history thing. But yeah, I was just like always watching out. Like I've even seen videos like people have sent their kids to their perpetrator's house for the weekend over and over and over. Like this isn't just one person. This is like patterns. And patterns are there because they're supposed to be there. Like these things are supposed to play out the way they play out. It's just weird when you wake up and you start seeing all of this stuff. And it's like you can't stop it. You can't make things not be what they're supposed to be. That's like a time traveler trying to go in and stop Kennedy from being shot or something. You can't stop what's meant to be is meant to be. So in this storyline, which everybody thinks that these storylines just bleed out into a whole bunch of different storylines, which, I don't know, because it still is trippy to me how in the reality that when I first started going into spirituality and read back in the early days when I read Celestine Prophecy, and it was written by Marianne Williamson. Like that still is that part is really trippy to me. Because that stood out to me so much. She was like this hero to me, like Marianne Williamson. She's so cool. And for so long. And I read at the time there was Celestine Prophecy. I think she had another book before that. This Marianne felt, which she looks like the one now. She looks exactly the same. But there was the Celestine Prophecy. Then there was a second one, but it wasn't as good as the first one. The first one was just so impactful. Then she wrote another one about women, a book about woman power or something. I don't remember what it was. And it was just like, I wasn't into that. I was like really into the Celestine Prophecy. But there was so much stuff that stood out to me for all those years. And then once people started talking more about spirituality and stuff all the time, and I started saying something about Celestine Prophecy, and I said something about Marianne Williamson, and they're like, that's not who wrote that. And I was like, yeah, it is. I should fucking know. That book like stood out to me like, and I said, no, it's not. Go look it up. So I went and looked it up, and it was some guy. I was like, what in the hell? So I started looking up, and I had already seen that she was coming out in political stuff, which I thought was kind of strange, but I was like, I thought it was weird. But then, yeah, it's weird. And so then I'd already seen that. But then the guy who they said wrote it, it's like, I've never even heard of this guy. Like, this book made a difference in my, like, it was very impactful. And so, I don't know, that trips me out. But there's lots of people that think, like, all these realities, which it can be, all these realities exist, especially when you start going in these things where people keep saying like everything is right inside of you. Like we're never even outside of ourselves. Oh yeah, that's what that one thing was, is because I was talking something about the space as being this thing, our spacesuit, our vehicle, that so many people start thinking that's who they are. They think like that they're this, not what's inside. And and that's why I was saying it yesterday. I think I was saying, for when people start realizing that they're not this and whatever. I've said a bunch of stuff about it. But then, so the video I saw was an old video, and some guy saying, whatever, I don't know if this is all CIA files or what, because there's lots of that kind of stuff too. There's lots of stuff about consciousness, lots of stuff about alien, all this different stuff about portals, wormhole, all this. Because that's what's our real thing. They're just trying to put us in a room and tell us that's the whole world. And but in this thing, it said that aliens look at humans as containers. And the guy kept saying that. They were talking about this container thing, that we're just containers. They just look at us like containers. But I was listening to it as like, yeah, containers like a vehicle. It's just a vehicle. A human is just a vehicle for an experience. It's not who you are. You're not a human soul. You are a soul. You are here to be in a vehicle in a realm that is having a certain availability of experiences. And so you you birth into the vehicle. It's like, it's kind of like that's kind of like what they're trying to do, is when they're stealing consciousness, they're trying to do it like a birthing process. Like I don't know, because it's like when we come, it's like coming in. I don't know. There's something about this spark of life, but the spark of life, see, is going into this organic being, this organic, I don't know, it's weird because no matter what, if we change the frequency, everything changes. So what's real and what's organic, what's natural and stuff like that. Natural, okay, so natural would change with the frequency. Like the frequency can change and natural stuff can change with it. Things that are unnatural can't exist in other frequencies. And so it seems like plastic and stuff. Like, I don't know. That's what it seems like. But anyways, so this, okay, let me think, because now I've got like a bunch of different things. Okay, so I keep thinking this guy, but what guy? This guy, the dad. Oh yeah, the vehicle thing. Okay, so the vehicle thing. So if we, that to me is what is meant by this container. So you are birthed into this containment, this thing like that. Like I've said, it's like a vehicle. But it's weird because it's also an expression of you. So it takes your DNA to be plugged in to express this egg, this vehicle, this shell. And so you go into the shell because it is your protective barrier. And if you've ever come out of your body, you know what it feels like to come out of your body. It feels very just like, it depends, because when I was out of it that one time, I felt very, like I felt just normal. Like I didn't feel anything. I just thought it was weird because everything was so smoky and I didn't smell smoke. But the other time, well, there's been a few times, because I've come out and been up above me watching me. And so, but this one time when I was doing these stretches, like I do lots of stretching and stuff, and I was doing these stretches and I went down and stretched and I came right out. That felt weird. That felt so weird because I was not even expecting it at all. And all of a sudden it felt like I had no barrier. And I was like sucked back in real quick. Like that felt creepy. So that is what I'm saying is it's like that it gives us this barrier, this containment. So I see what they're saying. Like, so just think about things a different way. And yesterday there was a video that was going around too that was somebody out of their containment. And so there's lots of videos, people catching videos of ghosts or apparitions. And this one was so cool because it was the video, and I don't know where the video came from, but it was a person walking down the street, but they weren't they weren't embodied. And so the whole thing looks so trippy. The way their light shifts and in a way they trail behind and then go up. It's really, really cool. But that is, you know, your energy out of a containment. Your energy is just like, it's almost like you pull yourself into focus to stay who you think you are. But it looked so cool. This person walking down the road and they were shifting. And I know so many people get scared, but it's like, that's what we are. That's what we are. There's nothing to be scared of. And, and then when they say like containers, that doesn't mean you have no value. You're putting your value in your container. Your container is just your vehicle. It's just your car. You know, it's your ride. And, you know, I mean, how many rides have you had through life? You know, how many did you just hold on to? Which I still have a broken car here that when I, you know, because I couldn't drive and I didn't have a car and I got divorced. And I did have this little broken pickup for a while, but it had too much stuff to get fixed. It was too expensive. So I ended up selling it. I don't know, I didn't get enough to buy a car. I think I got like $1,000 or something to some mechanic. And because lots of people like those little mini pickups. And I would have liked it, except for I couldn't fix it. And it would have been too expensive and stuff. So it was like the whole motor or something. It was like, I don't know, whatever it was. It wasn't my thing at the time. I just was like using the city bus and riding my bike everywhere. And I went everywhere on the city bus, like all over the place. Like it worked fine. And my daughter got a car. She got, because even people who didn't have very much money at the end of the year, taxes would give them a big chunk of money. So she would get a big chunk of money at the end of the year being poor. And so she bought this car. And then she got in a wreck in it. And then so she was getting a different car. She didn't want that car. But she wanted me to go drive and get her kids for her. So she said, here, you can have this car. Just, you know, I need you to pick up my kids some and stuff. So I was like, it was like this big thing of freedom or something, like, oh my God, and I love this car. And I didn't care if it was crashed in on the back. It was a Subaru station wagon, and I loved it. Me and the dogs, because Winston and Stella would both fit in the back, and we'd go traveling around in the car. Well, we weren't doing all these road trips and stuff like I have been, but wherever it was I would go, they would fit in the back of the car all the time. That was my car. Even when I got Millie, she was another 100-pounder, and I had all three of them in the back of that Subaru. Now it's like, well, now I've just put Stella in the back seat on one of those kinds of things because they have a cool one that's a hard bottom thing. So, and I think that was better than her having the whole back. I think that was bothering her more because she couldn't get comfortable because she had nothing to lay up against. So, anyways, so when they sit there and say like your container, don't take it personally. like, oh, see, they look down on us like we're garbage. No, you're a soul. Quit thinking that you're a human. You're a soul. You're the same as all of these high beings, these higher spiritual beings, because there's the being higher dimension is being more close spiritually. That's why, being lower vibration is more distance. So that is one thing that is just trippy, because people just don't realize, like, they think aliens are monsters or something, which there is some, there is some out there. There's all sorts of shape shifting, but they're just creatures, just like, all the different creatures, and everybody eats everybody. I mean, we're fucking creatures. Look at us. We're fucking killing animals right and left and eating them. So for other things to come and kill us and eat us, it's like, well, what goes around comes around, right? So, yeah, that doesn't mean that all aliens are monsters and they all want to eat us. There's a lot that are super high vibration beings. And those ones are the ones that are always trying to talk to us through telepathy, trying to give us advice and help us. Those are the ones where you think of your ancestors and stuff, and other people of your soul groups and stuff. They're all up in those realms. So, and then they are always talking to you and stuff. It's not scary to communicate. There's because there's difference in communication. This is the thing. Because I saw this video of a guy. Okay, it was a mom. Her kids were communicating with some spirit in the house. I don't remember what they were using to communicate with, but that's the thing, is like, if you're just communicating with any old spirit. See, that can be trickery, trickster. They're not. It was the question too that they asked, or it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know, because to me, my communication is about me growing and healing and stuff like that. So they talk to me or show me things. Again, I don't know. It's like showing you things that just make sense, or telling you things where it's just like you're constantly like, oh, yes, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. It's like, okay, like, this is a weird one. So I went to, I impulsively went to the thrift store yesterday. So I drove 30 miles to go to this thrift store at 2:30 in the afternoon. And when it closes at 5. And so I went in, went to some racks and stuff, because I knew there would be something that was going to be there that I was going to love. And so I was finding a whole bunch of stuff, and I took a whole bunch into the dressing room and was trying them on. And the one dress that I really love is a Free People one. I really love Free People. And whenever I find it at the thrift store, it's always like, oh, hell yeah. So I said, it was like beckoning me to come. And, it was half price sale. So they had it for $18, but I got it for half price. So that was a score. And, but there was a couple other things I got, but I had exactly a certain amount of money that I was going to spend. I didn't want to spend over $40. And so I had been looking on ThredUp, looking at the dresses, and I had some dresses picked out. But I was like, man, I just feel like I should go to the thrift store, because I really have been wanting to look for this vintage stuff. And they have a lot of cool stuff at this thrift store often. And like the area is like where people have money and stuff. And so they have like good stuff at the thrift store. And it's a church thrift store. It's not Goodwill. And so, and their prices are usually way cheaper. And so, I had gotten these different things, and I went in there and I tried them on, and then I was like narrowing it down what I wanted, and I didn't know the stuff was on sale at that point. And I had this really cute, like, long vest thing that I was like, oh, because I was thinking it was vintage suede at first. But then when I looked further into it, it was Chinese polyester. I was like, oh, I'm not going to spend that much money on that. Like, no, if it was really suede vintage, I would, but fuck that. And I was looking through the other stuff, trying to decide, and I wanted to get some more little toys for Max, which Stella has really gotten into the toys again, too. So I got them a few toys. She's being so playful and having so much fun. She's doing so good. Like, huge difference. And so I had some things picked out. One of them was a black sweater. And I have tons of black sweaters. You see me wearing them all the time. I have a bunch of black sweaters. And so then I was like, do I really need another one? There was a little difference on this one. It was like a 70s kind of, had a little tie here. And I was like, I do like the retro kind of stuff. So I do like it. It's only $5. And so I was like, I carried it around. I went back, found the little stuffed animals that were all marked down and grabbed a bunch of those and found a bag and stuff. So I took them up there. And then I found this really cute black t-shirt too. So, I like black t-shirts, but it's backless. It's so cute. And so then I took the stuff up there. So I had the Free People dress, the black backless t-shirt, and this black sweater, and then this little bag, and then some little toys. And then when I was leaving, I was like all excited, it came to like $39.40. It was like, I just felt like they were on my side the whole way. And then, so I'm leaving and I'm kind of like, should I have gotten that sweater? I don't know. Maybe I should have got that other sweater, because there was also like a sports zipper sweater where I was like, oh, I like that one. But the zipper was so shiny that I kept feeling like, I don't know. I couldn't decide. And so then I'm like leaving and, thinking about this sweater, like, should I have gotten that? And then while I was driving, so I was all caught up in my own thoughts, like, and then all of a sudden they told me, well, you just asked us to get you the black sweater, remember? And I was like, oh, yes, I forgot. Yes, I was just sitting here like last week or the week before, and I had put on one of my sweaters, and it was just like so huge, and the sleeves are so baggy, and I'm doing stuff, and it's hanging out in my thing, and I was like, man, I need to get some smaller sweaters. And so I was like, I gotta put that on my list to get some smaller black sweaters, some that are tighter in the arms and stuff. And I had totally had forgotten about that. That's why I said they listen. Your orders are always going in. That's why you got to be looking around, thinking and saying what you want. Because, yeah, that sweater was just sitting right there. It was a small, and it was in the thing. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so then I was like, okay, sorry guys. Great gratitude. Yes, that was, but that's the kind of stuff, like when you're in communication all the time, that the communication is like. And but back before, when I really started talking a lot, when I started really, somebody had showed me about using the pendulum. And the pendulum was cool, and I was letting my grandkids use it and stuff, and it will talk to you. And so it was kind of like the parents were doing that, it's kind of Ouija board-ish or whatever. It's just, to me, it's like you've got to be mindful going into this stuff. You can't just think like every spirit that is communicating with you is there for your best. They can be there for their best, and they can be there as a trickster having fun and tricking you, just like that one lady who, she said she was a psychic and all that, and she was in Ireland or something, and she was so excited when this old spirit started talking to her, and it was telling her, that it was the spirit of the land, had been there for, I don't know, centuries or something, and started giving her information. So she starts talking to it, and she thinks like she's scored, she's getting all this accurate information from this really old spirit. And then it turns out it was a trickster, and it started taking hold of her, because it wants you to itself. Very parasitic kind of involvement. So that's where, and it's weird because it's like you acknowledging them gives them power. So just like these ones trying to communicate with me when I'm trying to go to sleep, then they come zooming in and coming up to you and stuff, who are wanting to be noticed, is that then they want you to, it's like it's weird because as soon as you start being curious about, well, what's that? What are you doing? That starts, it's like gives that power. It's like turning the lights on it. It's like gives it the thing, and that can suck you in. It's like sucking in your consciousness or something. Like, I don't know if they can really hold on to it, but it definitely feels very creepy when it's happening. And it's like, I shake my head and wake up every time, or not wake up, I pull my eyes open and shake my head, like, get the fuck out of here. And I don't know. It's like you gotta be careful who you're communicating with. But I mean, that's coming from somebody who's been communicating with them since I was 3. So it's not like I was doing a big evaluate. Okay, so who are you? Okay, we're gonna have to vet this situation. But I've developed a trust because of stuff like that. I'm like, well, you told us that's what you wanted, and we gave it to you, and then you're questioning, why did I get this? It's like, oh, I forgot about that part. Geez, see why also I rely on them a lot because they do remember stuff. But the training takes you listening, you developing your listening skills, and and being in your jive, your vibe. So, but it's not just all play. It's not just like. I mean, when you're communicating with spirits and stuff, it's serious. Like you're really communicating with something that's real. It's not, pretend. And people are still just like, oh, what's sense talking back? Yeah, because they're all around us. And also, when that guy was walking, that also gave me that thing of like, see, there's just all different realities. He's in his own reality. Wherever he's going, to his own thing. Hold on. Okay, so that is now it's gonna be distracting because now he's all hyped up. But anyways, there was more stuff I wanted to talk about. So the guy who had kicked out his daughter, I was trying to giving him parental advice and stuff, because what I was seeing so clear was like little kids, like little kids, like if this girl in particular. So being little and your parents are all like, you're so fun, and they play with you and they laugh at every little thing you do, and you're just the cutest thing, like there's a different way. And then at some point, kids become, irritating or whatever. They become more independent, they become more argumentative, they become more dismissive of you or whatever on this process, this developmental process. But what I was seeing was the pain of the kid, of this being, what is that word? Being like disregarded, or a disappointment. It's like a kid feeling like they're everything, they're the greatest, and then to go into, oh, my parents hate me, I'm a disappointment, I'm no good, I'm this, I'm that, and that how that feels to the kid, and how this kind of separation kind of becomes in parenting. And it's like I could just see it severing. And so it's like you got to notice the things that sever and try and build them back. But there's certain things that are supposed to happen in development. So there's supposed to be this separation between parents and children in a whole natural way. But there is, Or is it something where I just feel like there's ways that we can do better. Oh my gosh, fella. Hold on a second, see if he stops. So it seems like it would, like we could do better. And like this guy, even if his daughter, if he makes her go live at the mom's, and if that's going to do any good, who knows? Like, I don't know if the mom is more permissive. Maybe the uncle lives over there. Maybe it's not the uncle. Like, who knows? Like, this girl could have been sexually abused as a child, and that's going to make her act out sexually. And then see, it's being overlooked. They just keep looking at her as being a bad kid, doing all this stuff. But you got to look for what is the cause. You know, there's something going on. There's more to it. And then even if a kid feels like that they're not good enough, and then they go out around other, it can be older boys too, and keep building them up and stuff. So then the little kids are going to gravitate towards these men, or because you know a lot of little boys at that age aren't, trying to have sex. A lot of them are very insecure about their own bodies and stuff. I mean, there's some boys at that age, I don't even know if they've all grown pubic hair. Like, they're later in the development than girls. So you would think it's older boys doing it with these little girls like that. And but there's patterns. There's patterns of development that we can see, that we can do better. Like, if your kid is going and acting out like that, like, to me, that dad should go and do some dad and daughter dates. Go take her out and do fun things with her. Back like when she was a little kid, spend time like, like you really appreciate her, you like her, she's fun, she's a cool kid. And get her to see that side of herself. Get her to remember that she's a cool person. Because somehow along the way, this disappointing your parents makes you feel bad about yourself or something. And so we can't be having kids go out into the world feeling bad about themselves. They're just going to be used by everybody. And so if you have that kind of thing going on with your kid where it's so distant and stuff, try and get to where it is that you have special time together, that you go do fun things. Like, it used to be like, oh, well, let's go to the movie together. But now it's even like, you know, that could be one way to start, is be like, hey, why don't we go to see a movie? You want me to take you to a movie? Just me and you. Let's go to a movie and go get some lunch or something. And then, eventually you want to get it to where you're just going like and feeding the ducks together and talking, because it should be about communication and quality time where you're actually bonding in this period of time, not just being entertained or distracted. So time where, they're learning about you, you're learning about them, you're creating a real bond, a bond of acceptance and a bond of trust. And so, but, and there has to be strong boundaries. If you just have it be like no big deal, no standards set, then how does anybody know where to go? Like, I don't, when a 14-year-old is pregnant for the second time and she's already had one, it's like, I know with one of my, I think with all my granddaughters, once they started, being grown up in that way, that the implant thing, getting the implant in, because that does something where they can't get all the different things, though. Because whatever's supposed to happen is supposed to happen, and you can't control what's supposed to happen. So that's one thing. But then when all these things, and we can look and see, like, well, we can do better. And like, I don't know, what the solution is when you have teenagers that are out there having sex when they're not ready to be parents. Like, that is a big stuff in our society that needs to change. We've overly sexualized them. Kids should still feel very nervous about naked bodies and stuff until they get older, till they get more ready to be parents or something. But anyways, still have this stuff going on in our society. We still have these things going on in families and stuff, and so many people, like, well, everybody, nobody knows what to do. When your kids are doing stuff, you're just trying to figure it out right then and there. And we don't have a lot of support. We have way more people who sit happily to attack other people and tell them what they're doing wrong. But who's telling us what to do right? We're all just trying to figure it out. And parenting is challenging. Like you're constantly, and then it's something that is haunting. You feel bad. You feel guilty about the choices you made. You wish you would have done different. You wish you would have done this different. So there's so much learning and growing that goes on in these relationships. So you can see why they're so important. They're so complex, and they're so profound to the growth of everything in the universe. But if we look at it and we try and see what we could do to improve, that's the kind of things I would say is, really putting more quality time into an individual child, try and get it back to that love where they felt your love. They didn't feel just your disappointment and your anger and I'm too busy and I don't have time for that and stuff. When, there was more joy in parenting, when they're little and they're less challenging. So, but we've got to step up to the challenges better, we've got to do better. Is that, we do have so many fucking, just sad, like that young guy, he doesn't know what to do. He's already raising one grandchild, now his child, 14 years old. Like, she's got a long ways to go. And he's saying something about, you go get a job. You don't even get up off the couch all day. So see what we have going with these kids, like kids that are over-sexualized, they're depressed, they're just so confused. And the confusion comes from our society. It's not like these kids are being born this way. They're just trying to adapt to our world. It's like they're showing us back our world. It's reflecting back to us where we are. That's why we have to take notice and be like, man, I don't like the way this was looking. We're going to have to improve here. But there was a couple more videos I wanted to say something about. There's way more with the earthquakes. There's way more shaking up. There's so much stuff going on. Like, anything can happen at any time. And what was it? There's like so many things. There's just so many things. Like fucking Elon Musk has 12 kids. Like what? What the hell? He's the opposite of a eugenics. He's somebody who believes that you gotta fill the world up, which it's not like filling the world up, because the realities aren't what we think they are. There's more stuff. Man, let me think. There was something that I really wanted to say about something. Man, there's just so many crazy videos, so many crazy things going on. Is that all there is that I can't? It's like this one I can try to see. Oh yeah, because the Olympic thing. Oh my God, that has just gotten more and more bigger. So now it's so weird, because there was this one coach lady, Australian coach lady, and she was like saying, well, we picked her. She was the best that there was. It's Ray J or whatever. She was the best there was that was out there. She's great. And then I had seen a couple of videos where she was, breakdancing. I wouldn't say, like now. Like if you haven't seen all these other videos of these like really good breakdancers, then you may not know how bad she really was. But it's like she did everything. Stop. She did everything really, really slow. It's like she slowed it down so much or something. It was weird, but it was funny. It was still funny as can be. But then, so this coach was coming out and saying, like, why is everybody so mean? Like, she's the best. And then there was some old videos where she was breakdancing and she's going and doing competitions. And it's something about, she's a professor, which I'm thinking, is there going to be more about this too? That's going to be coming out with the university or something? Oh my gosh, disruption sometimes. So much. Um, so so she, so now though, there's the break dancing community is fucking livid. They are so mad. The other breakers, they are so furious because she's taken all the attention. There's all these people who were really doing really good, but she's getting all the attention. Now they've taken breakdancing back out of the Olympics, which they are just as skilled to me as these gymnasts and stuff. Like, they are like, fuck, some of the stuff these people can do. And so to me, it's like the dancing gymnasts. So that's what a lot of the Olympics are. So why would, I don't know. There's some reason why all this drama is happening. Because it was weird. I was not expecting breakdancing to even be in the Olympics. So I was shocked when they put it in there. And I'm definitely not somebody who's into sports. I've never been into the Olympics or any of that. I've always looked at this gladiator fucking bullshit. Like, the only sports I was into was when my kids played them, which that was fun. But I think we need to make kids sports less competitive, because it is hard to watch kids lose and stuff. And I think, but team sports and stuff is super fun. It's really fun when your kids are little and going and doing it. And then you become friends with all the parents. It's fun. But the watching sports on TV, I've just never, or any of that stuff. So I've never been into the Olympics or any of that. But so, I mean, they could have been saying, oh, yeah, breakdancing's coming, and people who were paying attention, then they knew what to expect. But I was shocked. I thought it was a joke when people kept showing that video at first. I thought, this isn't really the Olympics, what? And then, well, no, it was. And some of those dancers were so fucking good. And there's so many dancers that are so good that weren't there. Like, I don't know about this Norwegian girl, if she was there, but oh my gosh, she is good. 'Cause there's all these videos of all these dancers coming out. So it's, the break dancers are mad because of what she has done. But really what she's done is brought a lot of attention on breakdancing. And it's, I'm seeing video after video of really talented people. So, but yeah, she did some shenanigans on the Olympics, whatever's going on, because they're taking it out. And it's making the people who were there feel like she turned it into a joke and stuff. So when she plus got all the attention. But the thing is about attention and about coming onto the main stage, where it's getting more complex now, is now they're saying she put herself in. But it's like, but there was that other coach person. Like, that's where I said there's so much stuff all the time. But so her and her husband were the ones who were picking who was going to go out and do it or something. And she picked herself. So there's going to be more coming out. Whatever the things are, because she could totally be the catalyst person who is coming in to show the corruption. Could be corruption in the Olympics they're going to show. Could be, like, who knows. But I would say all of the stuff is always to show some kind of corruption. It could be just, it's going to be this big of a thing just to take down her and her husband. But it's like, you would think there's got to be more links. There's got to be more that's going to go down with this, that she's just the one who came in to take down some stuff or something, because it's so strange. But it could be, this is her humiliation for her past life injustices. And so she's got to go through that. Like, I don't know. Like I've said, there's so many of these different storylines and roles and people are here to experience. They're just so complicated that it's like hard to figure out. But one thing is all these different people coming onto the main stage and stuff is all to show more to the story. Which, another thing that I find kind of interesting is now they want to put Trump on Mount Rushmore, which there's always been this weird thing with him and Mount Rushmore. And so I don't know what's going to come out, if there's going to be more things about that. Like, I don't know. I just think when all these things keep coming up and then people get all mad, like, oh, well, they don't deserve this, they shouldn't do that, and all that. But really, everything that is coming up is to expose things, for us to see things. And everything that we keep seeing is all about criminals, corruption, and stuff like that. So that's what I would think. And I'm sure, like, all the sporting stuff, it's all shenanigans. It's all some fucking bullshit. Uh, there's lots of money that goes in it with bets and stuff. There's a lot of corruption around sports and just the whole thing. So, we'll just see how it plays out. But and then, oh yeah, because I wanted to say too, so the people on the money thing, there's all these different money things. So it seems like XRP was already a thing. But from what I understand, that's how the quantum is going to be XRP. So I keep seeing this Ripple and XRP and this court case, and so I don't know if people who are really into Bitcoin and stuff are going to be the ones teaching us how to do some of this or whatever, because they seem to understand a lot of this stuff. The thing I know about it is that it has to be solid asset backed. So it has to be something that gives this value. It's not going to be any, vague value. It's going to be set. And the value can fluctuate, like if gold or silver, platinum or copper, whatever the uses are for them. So that would be what drives the price up and down. And so then, that's your investment. But, we're not going to be all walking around carrying silver bars and stuff. So it would be a place that we keep them, and that is going to be in these centers or something. But we're going to be able to access it, and that's going to be through the quantum system, this XRP or something. So it's not everything that's in there is going to be backed by something solid. So I don't know about all these other ones. That's why I heard a while ago that a lot of these cryptos are going to go down because they have to have something that backs them up. There has to be something that gives them value. So a lot of them will go down. Like, I don't even know what it is that drives the prices up and down on there, like what their investment is. But well, a bunch of that stuff is going to go. But that is going to be a part. And there's a lot happening. Like, there's a lot happening, like the things again to watch is about the Iraq and Iran and the dinar, like those places over there has something big to do with it. And then more with the war, because the war is all over the money and freedom, really, is exposing to us, who the true criminals are. And so there's a lot going on. I saw one of the guys saying that there's a lot going, things are really jumping. So, that whole thing, all of this jumping around with all of this cryptos and XRP, all the dinar, all that is everything leading us into this collapse of the dollar bill, y'all. That's what we want to collapse, because that has no value. The only thing is it's worshipped, it's idolized, it's, everybody wants it and everybody thinks they need it. And so anyways, that all has to fall apart. But anyways, when I hear the money people, it seems like there's a lot going on. They're all watching and stuff. So all I know is we just want it to go, because it's going to free us up and start our lives in a whole new direction. So anyways, I think I'm going to go take a shower. My hair is just like, ugh. But let me think, was there anything else? Because it seems like that there was some more stuff, but anyways, it's just like regular stuff. You just gotta think deeper and look at things from other perspectives. When you're looking at how things are going and stuff, think about other ways to look at it. Because that's what I always notice is people keep looking at things from this wrong direction. Look at it bigger. Look at it, more around. And, and think about the things in our relationships and stuff that we can do to improve them. We can't change other people. We can only change ourselves, but changing ourselves is what changes the world. So just while you're trying to change the world, remember what you're doing here is learning how to love yourself, love everyone, and how to have a loving day because it's up to you. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.